And your last name is pronounced Steiner? Correct?
Steiner.
Rebecca Steiner? Okay. Ready? Hello, small town Taylorville friends and community. I'm Jill Ruat with Small Town Taylorville, and today we are outside Rebecca's Antiques, joined by Rebecca Steiner. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
Okay.
It's a beautiful day to shop, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So we're outside this wonderful facility, this building. How long have you been here at Rebecca's Antiques on this corner? I guess.
I think it was 2022.
Okay, so just a couple of years.
No, it's been 5 years.
Okay.
2022 is when we bought the other one. Sorry.
So you've had two places here in Taylorville.
I had a shop that was off the square about 2.5 blocks, and then we moved here in, well, a number of years ago.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly.
Perfect.
Seems like forever.
Yeah.
Because this is really where I want to be.
Okay.
And I made it to be an antique shop and the way I want it. So
Nice. Well, we'll get more into that when we get inside. So we're on the south side of the square. Tell us real quick before we go in about your little wacky window, because whenever I drive by, it's always different. So what's happening here?
well, I always have to do something weird, and I don't know where they come from. They're somewhere in my head. All of a sudden they pop out and I have to do it. And this one, even though it's pink, it's Halloween because it's Frankenstein blowing bubbles. You can see him. And one of my ladies is blowing a bubble too. And even though, the Frankenstein is part of Halloween, he has to be.
It is.
So that's the Halloween part, and the rest of it's pink because of what came out of my head.
It's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, though,
Well,
too,
there
right?
you go. That too.
So
that
it kind
too.
of is combo. So
Yep.
if anything, when you drive by here, always check out Rebecca's window, because you just never know what you're going to see.
And they're always weird.
So let's go inside and we'll talk some more about
Let's do.
your shop.
Well, we have to be greeted by Miriam.
Hello, Miriam.
That's my shop kitty. She's been with me for 16 years. So that makes her 17 years old. She's my sweet little calico.
Very nice. Hello, Miriam. Maybe she'll join us on our little tour.
Well, she likes to greet people when they come in because she loves people. She loves to be around people.
Yeah. So tell us, what inspired you to open an antique shop?
Well, I've had several other jobs. I was a teacher even. I worked for the State Board of Education. Then all of a sudden I said, antiques is what I want to do. So I did.
So you did.
I'd been buying a lot of stuff. My basement was full. My dining room was full. Everything was full at my house. And I said, I'm going to sell it. And that was kind of where we started, down there.
Okay.
And so we did a little remodeling on it so I could start my first shop, and then moved here bigger and better. And we did a lot of work on the inside and outside both, so it would look like an antique shop, and it would look like it did in 1895.
Wow. Yeah. So we'll kind of just do a little walk through. So do you go to like auction places or other antique stores to kind of collect items, or are they
sometimes I do.
donated, or?
Nothing's donated. I buy
Okay.
everything, and they basically people come to the front door. They come in, they want to sell their things, and I either buy or don't buy, or buy part of it or whatever. I know what, after all these years, I know what sells and what doesn't sell.
Okay.
So, and everybody asks me, what sells? Well, it's the odd and unusual.
Really?
Right up my alley. Because that's what I am, odd and unusual. So that's what people want. And chances are that's the stuff, if they're emptying grandma's house, that's the stuff they throw away.
What's one of the most unusual items or odd items that you've had in here that you've sold?
Well, let's see. I sold some photos of people in caskets.
Oh.
Yes, that was pretty odd. Other than that, well, I had teeth, gold teeth, that,
Why not?
you know, they pulled out, I assume, at either before they were embalmed or maybe before they were buried. But they were teeth with the gold on the outside. That was kind of weird. That's odd and unusual. Weird things over all these years.
Yeah.
So.
To go down memory lane just for the nostalgia of it, or do you get quite a few collectors as well?
Well, I get collectors. I get an awful lot of people that are out just having fun, and they want to come in here. And you know, I'm not a museum, but sometimes they think that. So anyway, but you know, they might come back. You never know. So I leave the door open. You know, my husband says, charge admission. I don't think so.
There are a lot of unusual and unique items in here, so we'll just kind of walk around, and if there's something that you want to point out for our friends with small town Taylorville, then...
Well, the first thing is this big, huge mirror. It was made in Germany.
Wow.
That was, he was a serviceman and brought it back with him and decided for another. Now, used to be, because I would love to have that at home.
It's style and the detail on there, it's beautiful.
And I love forest, but I don't know that. But because it's them forever.
Yeah, what a neat story. What a neat story.
Taylorville, there's Free Baptist Church, there's the Chautauqua Building, there's, this one's a Springfield because that's Lincoln's home, and Bob Johnson, you know, is from Taylorville.
Okay.
And these are prints of the originals that he did. And actually, I'm selling these now. I don't do this for just anybody, but I am selling them for the bike trail people. So everything that sells, I don't even take a commission or anything. All the money goes to the bike trail. They've got lots of work to do on that bike trail, the bridges and things that they have to do. And they have a committee that does that.
The Lincoln Trail.
And so, yes, trail, and so that's what those are, and they're all different sizes, and I have Springfield ones because I have a lot of people from out of town that come, and so there's Taylorville, there's Springfield, there's just whatever Bob Johnson decided to do. And he did people's homes. Very prolific and
Well, they're fantastic.
Beautiful.
So if anybody's looking for some art, some of the local buildings or some history, and as a way of, you know, helping out the Lincoln Trail, what a great...
Right. Absolutely. And then, of course, there's some little bead.
This reminds me of Grandma's house because my grandma had all the beautiful red glass.
Yep, it's that very, very dark red. Yeah. And it's kind of fun. I have, oh goodness, there is now, people are doing that mid-century modern. Okay. You know, after, what was that TV show, Mad Men? And that really brought that. So there's a lot of the modern stuff. It's not really my thing. It sort of is, but you know, I have to kind of go with trends also. And the new, and I sold things off the wall already. And I try to arrange things so that people can see them. I don't like it when, you know, places have stuff all over the floor that you're kicking, you're doing whatever, you can't see the trees for the forest, kind of a thing. So I try to keep it organized, and you know, like all the sewing things are together over there. There are a lot of women, especially quilters, that like to sew, and so they like to collect the old things. I, you know, put the desk, the globes with the desk. That's just the way it's supposed to be.
It's because then you can visualize it in your home better, I think, when you can see how it's set up, a little vignette, or some people have just that mind where they can see something and go, oh, I'm going to create this whole new setup or be creative, and they're repurposing some of the older items into a newer, you know.
Right, and I like to mix things. You know, you don't have to have everything one design.
No.
You know, like that gorgeous mirror, that could be in a modern house. Yeah. Because it's a mirror and you can use it. So.
I love eclectic.
So, yes, that's what I think houses that are eclectic are a lot of fun.
Yeah. And as we were kind of talking about earlier, a lot of the quality and craftsmanship of some of the older pieces, that's why they've lasted so long, and we can continue using grandma's and great-grandma's items versus nowadays it seems on some things, you know, we lose a little bit of quality, but it's fun to, use grandma's and great-grandma's pieces because you still can. They don't break as easily.
That's
and
right.
They're
They're
really
wood.
well made.
They are made out of like that. So they, they do last a long time. And, you know, the drawers have been pulled out 100 times already, and they're going to keep working. Yeah, yeah.
So we got some more kind of kitchen glassware over here as we walk through, and your jewelry display.
I have a lot of vintage jewelry as well as some new. I throw in a little bit of new, and of course women love to look at the jewelry.
Right. So does Miriam, obviously.
So does Miriam.
She likes to point out the jewelry.
Yeah, you point out the jewelry, don't you, honey? I also have collectibles that are local collectibles, like there's a Taylorville tornado button and things like that because people like their towns. Right. They like to have things from their town. And so I try to collect a lot of Taylorville as well as Morrisonville and Nokomis and whatever I can do that, you know.
Yeah, support the local.
That's right, that those people would like.
What's one of your favorite pieces that you've had come through the store?
Well, I have this, my saying is, keep the best and sell the rest. So the good things that go through the door, most people don't see them. They're at my house. So the good things are not in here, although I do have a lot of wonderful things. There's just things that I like for me. Yeah. And things, and that's what's great about, well, any store, you know, any store on downtown Taylorville, any of them, they all have something different and different strokes for different folks.
That's right.
You know, they maybe, you know, I'm not into baby clothes, but the young mother is and grandma is. A lot of people are not into antiques, but they would go over to another store. So that's one of the really good things about our square, I think.
Variety is the spice of life, right?
Yes, that's always something different in each store.
Always something for everyone. There's so many little treasures. I love going through antique stores, and because you just never know what you're going to find. Every nook and cranny, you might see something different. Again, you might think this is how I want to use it, or you might think, you know what, I'm going to reinvent this and use it in a different way.
Right. I love to do that.
Yeah, it's fun to.
You know, you
get ideas from.
You see an old bucket,
folks.
and all of a sudden it becomes a place to put your canes and umbrellas.
Right.
You know, it's not an umbrella holder, but it's an old bucket, and you like it. So, and whatever you like, that's what you should have in your house. Things that make you happy, things that you like.
That is very true. Things that make you happy. Surround yourself by those things, and whether it's a memory. I think not too long ago, my daughter was visiting in town, and we came through, and I was reminiscing about a pair of salt and pepper shakers that I grew up with. And next thing I know, before she leaves to head back to Arizona, she gives me this little gift, and it was right around Mother's Day. And she'd heard me talking about it. She snuck back and bought them for me. And so it just has that little nostalgia to it. It's just a salt and pepper shaker, but you know, it just, you just never know what you're going to find and just what's going to make your heart smile every time you use it.
And when you go through Grandma's house and you'll see just a silly old bowl, but you remember that bowl because Grandma always put ice cream in that.
Yeah.
And you and she had ice cream together. You know, it's things like that nobody else in the family knows that.
Nope.
But that bowl is special to you, and that's what's kind of fun about antiques too.
Yeah.
And people trying to buy back their childhood.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
Mom got rid of her, baby doll. And my gosh, there it is. The same kind of doll that she had.
Yeah.
Then they have to have it.
Right.
Because Mom threw that doll away. So, it's nostalgia, and it means something to each person. Or they collect something, and this is the one thing they don't have in their collection. So they want it, and they have lots and lots of things, but that one thing is what they've been looking for. So,
Right.
So that's kind of fun, too. And people love to tell their stories about where it came from, what they thought. Look, somebody the other day swore that was her little stool. It was hers. Well, it was mass produced. I'm sure that exact one was not her, but it was just like it.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell her any differently. I didn't tell her it was mass produced because it just warmed her heart so much, and she was so happy.
Oh.
So I didn't say a word.
Yeah.
I said, well, isn't that neat that you found it?
Right. That is wonderful. I love that you're here. You're on the corner, easy to find. What are your store hours for those who are out and about and looking to stop by?
Well, I'm closed on Sunday and Monday, and I am open Tuesday through Friday from, I'm usually here about 9:30, but it's 10 to 4:30. And then on Saturday, I'm here from 10 to 3.
Okay. And again, if people are looking to sell a piece, they can come in and talk to you.
Or they can call me on the phone.
Okay.
A lot of times, if it's something large, they're not going to put it in the back of their car and drive it over here. So I always say to text me. My phone number in the phone book, you can text right to that number and just say, I'm looking to sell this. And that way you don't have to lug it around. Or if you have a big box of something and it's heavy, you don't want to carry it. So, I try to make it easy on everybody because I don't want to have to go to their house either if it's something I'm not interested in. because I'm pretty busy these days.
Yeah. Leave us with one last little bit of uniqueness about your shop or advice for folks who are shopping in antique stores, or what little tidbit could you give our community?
Well, I can tell you one thing, and this is true of every store, antique store, resale store, any kind of, just regular retail store, is always look up and look down. Everybody looks at eye level, and that's what you see. You might find the most wonderful things up or down because people are going to use every inch that they have in their stores.
Right.
And they're going to put things up. They're not going to put everything at eye level. Number one, it doesn't hold a lot of stuff there, and it's boring too. So that's what, especially antiques, because there's a lot of interesting things on the floor. Or furniture. You see things sitting, you see what's sitting on the furniture, but you don't look at the furniture. And that's really true of any store at all.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you'll find if you look up or down.
I never really thought about that. And as you were saying that, I'm like, well, look down and, there's my dad's old bristle brush shaving thing, or the marble, and you just, you're right. And you don't think
most things at eye level are what sells.
Wow.
And so that's a little tidbit for any shopper.
Yeah.
And if you want to come to an antique store, expect to find weird stuff if you come to my store, because I try to do that.
Right, and expect to spend some time, too.
That's right.
Any antique store you go into, because there is so much to look at, lots of treasures, you can spend quite a bit of time. And I'm sure if somebody is looking for that one specific thing, they could just ask. And you could point them in the right way. But plan to spend some time when you come to Rebecca's Antiques. Again, she's on the south side of the square, open Tuesday through Saturday. Thank you so much for being live with us today. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being a founding member with Small Town Taylorville. And happy shopping to all. She'll be open tomorrow at 10 a.m.
That's right.